I'm just filming this video this morning because yesterday I did the video on the kind of glassy Marshall tones, and the outcome is not exactly what I intended, but I think people were feeling that the Kemper tone is kind of thin and brittle, a bit ice picky. That's kind of what I like about this profile actually, but not how I used it in that video. So I've never used a Boss DS1 with it, for example, and it doesn't necessarily do what I like. Sorry, my Kemper's just above there, so I'm looking at it. So what I normally do with this profile is crank the mids and turn the gain up a bit, and there's a compressor on the front and a delay. So I'll show you the tone that I like from it. Maybe the opinions might be a bit different, but obviously it's not going to be for everyone necessarily, but it's kind of this what I like about the profile. I don't know, you might hear it better if you actually play it. If you've got a Kemper, you probably can find it, it's in the stock factory, but this, although it's got that a lot of high-end material, it doesn't get stiff. I don't know if that makes any sense, but that's like a feeling that I get with some amps, if you've not used a high cut or something on the Helix, or some amps from the Kemper, is that they feel stiff, whereas this one feels very glassy and still smooth, which is kind of unique about it. And then the other point was that I can't actually find a tone like that on the Iridium, although I've had an idea today, which I think it's probably closer to a Vox tone. So yeah, probably not the most indicative display of a Marshall tone from a Kemper anyway, but the Blues Breaker is kind of one of those different Marshall amps which I think are quite cool. But anyway, just enough talking. I'll show you the tone that I actually like from it. So this is just following up on the glassy Marshall tones video that I made yesterday, which got a bit of a, well, probably not even a mixed response. The consensus was, I think the Kemper one was sounding a bit dodgy, so I just showed you how I actually use the Kemper one, which is that I completely dime the mids, and hopefully you've just heard that kind of rounds out the tone a bit, but it still maintains that high-end glassiness bit, which is what I like about that profile. Probably not for everyone, but I think you might see now that there's like something useful in that tone, possibly. Now, I was finding that I couldn't really replicate it on the Marshall channel so much, but so that's the Marshall, the Plexi kind of stays quite dark in general. So I'm going to show you what I found is on the Vox, the chime, your mid becomes a treble cut, I believe. So if you just listen, the treble goes away basically. So if you open that up completely, does do some of that glassiness thing that I was talking about. So I've got the mids completely down, which is the treble cut, so the treble cut's not active, and then I've got the treble completely up. So hopefully that's cleared up a little bit what I was thinking with that last video. But it makes me think whether it might be worth doing a video where we aim to like explore problematic tone a bit, if that makes any sense. So I guess some of us will have an amp that we've got, and it might have like a channel where you're like, I don't really know what I can do with that channel. For instance, on that Mesa Boogie Nomad, the second channel of it was something that I never really bonded with especially well, but I was wondering whether it's worth doing like an idea where you you try and get a good tone out of something which historically you've struggled with, or I've struggled with, or whatever, or B, deliberately aiming to get a kind of extreme, maybe even bad sounding tone, so that you learn the extremes of whatever the piece of gear is. I don't know, it's a bit difficult to think of what the idea might be, but I don't know, maybe that's useful, maybe it wouldn't be. But let me know in the comments whether that is a thing we could do, or it might not be. It might be a rubbish idea. But yeah, leave me a comment and let me know if this improved that tone slightly. And if you could do the liking and subscribing stuff, that would help. And also, Happy New Year.